Hello, hello. All right. Hello, Katie. Hello, machine learning. Mike. Zong. I don't remember. What was it? What was your name? What? Precipitation Zong. That doesn't start with Z. But that's okay. I'll let you slide. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our, don't even remember the title of this session, but it's the tour. Thank you for coming. See a lot of new faces. See the New York Times graphic artist. I'm so excited. Very good. Okay, so you have a do now. Raise your hand if you have an EarthData login. Okay, better yet, raise your hand if you do not have an EarthData login. Sweet! Yes, love. All right, so that's great. And the top right, the Google Dinosaur QR code. If you use your handy your phone, your smartphone or smart device, you can go ahead and you should be able to open up the Google, open up the Sketch Google Doc that goes with this session. Come on in. We're getting started. Come sit up front. Come on, Chris. I know you're an expert data user. We're going to put you to work. All right. And on the bottom in the border that is yellow, this one goes to the Mentimeter survey. And so we're going to hope to, if everything works well, we're going to ask some questions of you so that we can better understand you as a data user. Hello, come on, grab a seat. And don't sit in the back, come sit in the front, Benita. Beginner date. What are you doing in a beginner session? It's all good. We're going to put you to work. You didn't know that. You thought you were going to be here just chilling out with your coffee. No, girl. So we're going to give you some time to do that. Everyone needs a laptop. So go ahead and get your laptops out. There are, in some cases, are these what are these things called again? Surge protectors. Surge protectors are up here. Do we have other surge protectors back there? Yeah, I mean, let's get comfortable. You're going to be here for an hour and a half. Come plug in, get to a place where you can plug in your laptop because we're going to work. This is your session. It is for beginner data users. I'm seeing John Custer here in the back. So we have some expert data users in this session that may be willing to, this is the time to bring your questions. And so we would be honored and blessed to walk around and help you. So plug in, bring your coffee, and get your questions answered. So we're going to go ahead and give you this time to open the Sketch Google Doc in the top right and the Mentimeter in the bottom, on the bottom right. All right, so let's figure this out. Okay, so do I need to back up? Okay, I'll leave it there for about a minute more. Thank you for, yeah. Come get up, come on, stand up, come on, get that blood flowing. If you're having a hard time and scanning one, get up on your feet, feel free. And I will say this is your session. I want you to move around, right? It might even behoove you to later on down the road, when you pick one of the NASA tools that you're interested in learning about, it might be a good idea to find a partner, maybe that you don't know, you've never worked with before, to say, hey, you're interested in Worldview? Guess what? Me too. Let's hang out and let's jam on it. Let's learn, right? So I'm going to challenge you to do that. All right, we good? All right. Now, we'll say these links are found in a couple of places. So this document here, which is on Sketch, you will find all these other links. So if you're just joining us, that's okay. I'm not calling you out. It's all good. I kind of did, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and move forward. So this is the title. I forgot about the title. The Tour of NASA's Earth Science Open Data Resources. Come on, guys, get up on your feet. Come on now. I'm Elizabeth Joyner from Earth Science Data Systems Community Coordinator, and I am joined by two amazing people.
I'm Jennifer Brennan. I am the ESDIS communications lead. Okay. Okay. It's a kind of a hard act to follow. I'm feeling like I am at a disadvantage for not being a teacher before this. Anyway.
No disadvantage for me. All right, because I was an instructor in the Army. So you guys know me, I'm Ross Bagwell. I'm a principal systems engineer with ESDIS. So if you guys have any questions, one of our plans here is if we can't answer it as a team, if you have a super duper technical question, we'll get to it, but we're gonna have you go to the forum and find out how the SMEs address that question.
Absolutely. So again, this session is for beginners. So, we're not discouraging you from asking those technical questions because there are some assumptions that one of our colleagues that came in and joined us very early, just a moment ago, and I thought that this person would be an expert data user. And this person said, actually, I'm not. I have a lot of room to learn these tools. And it was so refreshing because I'm like, me too. And it just kind of set the tone. So I'm really excited about that. So here we are. This is ideally our timeline, but you're the learner. Really, you set the tone, okay? This is our hope. We are going to go over, we're going over this first part, the introduction, the agenda, the tour. Jennifer's going to do a tour of EarthData website, and we have some of our EarthData folks right here. I'm really excited for them to see this part of it. Raise your hand if you're from EarthData. Yay, all right, yay, all right. We're going to talk a little bit about how to get help. We're also going to present to you all a resource that we have called Data Pathfinders. Jennifer is going to do an overview of Worldview. I will do a quick demo. Hopefully if the internet cooperates. Raise your hand if you've ever used Worldview before. All right, very nice. Raise your hand if you've ever used Giovanni. Okay, very nice. And then EarthData Search. Raise your hand if you've ever used EarthData Search. What in the world are you guys doing here? All right. Okay. All right. Okay, let's back up for a second. All right. Now this is kind of a teachery thing. All right. So thumbs up if you consider yourself an expert in Worldview. Here, kind of middle. Thumb down is no way, Jose. Worldview. Okay, you see this, Jen? Okay. Do the same. Thumbs up. Expert in Giovanni. Oh, I need to see thumbs. Armin, where's your thumb? I mean, if you're like, I don't even know what Giovanni is, then you'd be like here, right? Okay. All right. And then EarthData Search. Where are we? And I will say for our EarthData Search people that would be here, we might need you to help, okay? So not to put you on the spot, but I'm just saying. All right, and then we're gonna have time for some guided practice. And what I mean by that, ideally we wanna hold space, like 15 minutes, for you to dig in, to practice these things. We've got people like Chris, Benita, we've got others here and Zong, who are experts in these tools that you're really not going to be able to find that kind of support anywhere else except on Sunday at AGU. Okay, the Sunday before AGU, we have an 8-hour workshop that was just accepted. And so we're going to take deep dives. Chris is going to teach us how to access data from the cloud. Benita's going to help us with some data access. What you going to help us with? I don't know. She's going to help us with all kinds of stuff. Jennifer's going to do more. I mean, we're going to recruit all kinds of people, right? Josh is going to lead about 3 hours of something. He doesn't even know. But so if you like this kind of thing and you have a vision of what you need next, let us know and we can build it into the agenda. Okay. All right. So With that being said, let's go ahead and move forward. I do want to mention that we do have virtual attendees. How many virtual attendees do we have? Okay, 4. And Teddy's online. She's going to help us navigate any questions that we have. And so Ross and Jennifer and I are going to tag team working with Teddy as well as the team over here. I do say that our polling system, we use Mentimeter. It is the only polling system that NASA approves. It's not perfect, so we might struggle a little bit. Just hang with us for a little bit and put your questions in there if you don't mind, or for the in the room folks, just raise your hand and we'll come around. Also wanted to mention that Teddy, she is putting in questions that you post in Mentimeter. She's going to be adding those questions into the Google Doc. So just know that there's going to be an archive of that. Okay, we've kind of done that. So we're going to go ahead and move forward.
Oh, can I use this thing? This might be better. Okay, can everybody hear me okay? All right, awesome. Okay, do we have any native Vermonters in this room? If you are, raise your hand. I'm the only one. Anyway, random trivia. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is just say a few words about what the NASA EarthData website offers, and then also skip over to the website and show you what you can find there. And so NASA's EarthData website provides not only access to your science quality and your near real-time data sets, but also provides links to learning resources. We're talking about data recipes, links to Jupyter notebooks and tutorials, links to our monthly EarthData webinar series, and also examples of how these data are being used. So we have a kind of more informal series called a data chat, where you're going to learn about how people are using data and also the tools around the world, and a little bit more of a formal structure data user profile, which features the work of NASA's user working group members. And of course, that is across the disciplines, okay? And then also opportunities for research and competitive programs. You can find information about access, citizen science, NASA's commercial small sat data acquisition program, the impact team, and community collaboration, and more. So I think what I did not do is include a link to go directly to the website. So we're gonna do, just give me 1 second here. All right. All right. Okay.
So would you read that out loud, what that link is?
So the link is earthdata.nasa.gov. Okay. And at the top here, I'm gonna just kind of hover over data first. And here is where you would go for links to EarthData search, or links to data tools, data recipes, also for entry into Worldview. So I will, these are organized by the various data centers, okay? And then also, you see over here on the right, the land atmosphere near real-time data is our near real-time capability for EOS, okay? So any kind of near real-time data, and also FIRMS, which is your fire information for resource management. You have your active fire maps, anything that you would need to know about wildfire management and how to sign up to receive email alerts for that, you could find here. All right. It probably won't take me 10 minutes, which is probably a good thing, because I think we ran a little bit over. Okay, so next we want to, all right, data. All right, topics. This will allow you to search for content, not only data sets, but also articles, webinars, related content to any of the data products that you're searching for, right? So if you were to click on atmosphere, for example, I'm just going to pull this down here. You'll see the related data archives. So those are the data centers who may have data within the atmospheric discipline. You will then also find, you can filter this by, looking for articles, backgrounders. This is a link to our data user profiles. It's titled Data Users. Any kind of resource spotlights or special campaigns that we have highlighted in the past, you'll find that there as well. Okay. The next thing I would like to do is move along to the Learn section. All right, so within the Learn section, you are going to find links to, excuse me, let me go back a second here. You're going to, let me hover first. You have a link to the Getting Started. Speaking of which, I did include some Getting Started guides in print form in the back, at the very back table on the left, some Worldview brochures, and also just some NASA meatball stickers, which I think you probably could get during check-in as well. So you'll find that back there as well. Okay, so for under Learn, you've got your data pathfinders, organized by theme. And Elizabeth will speak to this a little bit more later. And then you also have your, excuse me, you've got the webinars and tutorials that we talked about. Again, you can filter by discipline, and here you see some of our recent webinars that we've given. These are also available on the NASA Earth Data YouTube channel. We have over 150 data discovery and data access webinars and probably 40 video tutorials for various missions and various instruments, and even applied sciences as well. Okay. So now we're going to, and you see you've got your data chats, just to give you an idea as to what is being featured here. Let's move over to Engage. And in the Engage section, you are having some information again about data management. That's been covered in some of the other sessions. You've got links to ROSES, the APIs, Common Metadata Repository or CMR, really additional information that you might be interested in. And then finally, there's really a lot under Engage, right? You've got information about our standards, data use policies, data citation policies, and that's really outlined by the DAC, how to add new data to EOSDIS, and description of that process. All right. And then what I'd like to do is move over to the About section. And here you're going to find a breakdown of the program components. So you've got the Earth Science Data Systems program. I represent ESDIS, the Commercial SmallSat Data Acquisition Program. More in-depth information about competitive programs and opportunities on here with links back to those landing pages. And let's see here on the right-hand side, you are going to find information about our data centers. So you've got this organized in alphabetical order, but you've got a little bit of information about their discipline. There's a link back to the respective DAC sites. With web unification and coming soon in the next couple of years, you'll be able to find all that information on Earth Data. So you will not be going out separately to the DACs, but you'll be finding the DAC information and their services and tools on Earth Data. Let's see if there's anything else I wanted to say. I think that's really it for, just a high level tour of Earth Data. And with that, I am going to turn it over to Ross, I believe, who's going to provide a bit of information about EarthData Forum and how to get help by submitting tickets.
There it is, right there. So, all right. So when it comes to getting help with Earth Data, we have the Earth Data login is mentioned here. It's not really there for help. What it is, though, it provides you with access to many of the tools across the DACs, and it's basically the requirement for you to get the data. EarthData Forum is also there as a primary source for help. I'm going to show you a screenshot in a minute, but EarthData Forum was formed several years ago. Many of the DACs participate, not all of them yet, but it is a team of subject matter experts where, like any typical forum, you can go in, put your question, and you'll be addressed by the subject matter experts or the science teams themselves. We do have our email is support@earthdata.nasa.gov. Those emails go directly into our aged Kayako system, and we triage those by teams inside Kayako. Kayako is long in the tooth that will probably be replaced in the near future. So, but it's seamless for the user. So you send an email and you get a response, and we put you in the right bucket for the right team. And then on the EarthData website, I think it's on every page, if I'm not mistaken, right? You can scroll all the way down towards the bottom, and they have contact us, and that will be more of a form that you can fill out, and that will go to the headquarters program team. And then if you have any data questions or DAC questions, then that gets triaged back to us. So a little bit about EarthData Login. I'm sure most of you are familiar, but it provides a simple centralized mechanism for user registration and profile management for users accessing data. The information is basically it's used for us to better understand how the data is being used and the diverse need of the multiple user community. So the note is, it is not an account, right? And it is not an authentication. So it is basically a registration so that we can see the metrics for how the users are getting the data, et cetera. And it's for the users to be able to have a unique experience in getting the data so that they can go back and have the safe kind of what am I trying to think of, the experience of having a unique login, but it's not an authentication. That's the important part. So we do have a website that you can go to that'll tell you a little bit more about EarthData login tips. So now onto the forum. The website is forum.earthdata.nasa.gov. Again, many of the DACs, but not all, participate in this, and they have subject matter expert teams. So what you can see here is you see where it says search by tags. So a user can go in and do a drop down by discipline, by DAC, by a major project, or by a service, and they can basically filter out to see those tickets. Once you have a login for EarthData Forum, it's a complete interactive experience at that point. And then there is a quick video guide on how to post a new question. So one of the things we're going to have as an assignment for you guys is you'll submit a ticket to EarthData for help if you have a question. And then if we have a technical question or something about an actual, an instrument or a data set, et cetera, then we'll want you to post a question to the EarthData Forum to see the experience of the subject matter teams responding to you. So with that, I'll hand it over to Elizabeth.
Thank you, Ross. All right, raise your hand if you have ever submitted a EarthData Forum ticket. Question, right? Question is the best?
Yeah.
Question, right? Question. Raise your hand if you've ever submitted a question. One. All right, so what I would like for us to do is, because we know in order to put it into our long-term memory, we need to do it, right? We need to do it. Nate, is Nate back here? Did he leave? There he is. Can I get an amen on that? Amen. What I would like for us to do is most of us have EarthData logins, right? Most of us raised our hand. I want us to log in. I want us to log in to the forum, and I want us to put in a question into the forum, and let's see how it works. And I'm sorry if I missed this, Ross. How long does it take to get a response?
So I think it's guaranteed that you'll have something within, I think it's like 48 hours, but you'll usually get a response within a day.
Within a day or 48 hours. This can be a domain question, a data question, a formatting question. So this is your direct conduit to a NASA subject matter data expert. Okay, let's log in. Let's do it. So if you are interested in, okay, so you're like, where do I go? And I am not a EarthData Forum expert, but I know we had this in the,
You go to forum.
okay, I think we have it in the GitHub resource. So I'm going to go ahead and take this opportunity to open this GitHub resource that we put together. And I'm trying to get more in this GitHub space. Aren't you proud of me, Armin? And so this is not certain, this is a lot harder than just like Google Docs, let me tell you. But so we have a variety of resources for you here. And so we have the EarthData Forum, and it is here. And so forum.earthdata.nasa.gov. And I would like for everyone with a computer, let's drop a question in. You can, all right, I'm going to do it myself. Okay, here goes. You're going to click on post a new question. Okay, I'm going to go to post a new question. Here is post a new question. Green button right above the search. Oh, right here, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to the green button right up here. Okay, and I got to sign in. Dagnabbit. Oh, all right. So I'm going to put in the subject something about Jedi data. I'm just making this up, okay? Jedi data formats. Okay, that is my subject. I'm going to put in these confirmation, PFE. Okay. What formats do Jedi data, this is terrible grammar, don't judge me, come in? Okay.
So the one thing you
Use your mic.
choose, yeah. So the one thing that might be good to note is that it does, those questions do require moderator approval, and that's within the same, requirement in terms of time frames, just so you're aware of that. So you might not see it instantaneously after you post it.
So let me ask you, we've got Nate here, we've got some folks here, and if I don't call you out, but you think you know the answer, feel free to share. This is our community of learners. So discipline, DAC, do I need to identify all these? What if I don't know? And I think we have someone in the audience, they said, I don't know what a DAC is. This is like, come on, I know it was you. It said this is like vegetable soup, right? I don't know what this is. Do I have to know all that? Do I have to select that stuff?
You don't have to, but it helps.
Say it louder.
You don't have to select any of it, and maybe if you don't put a tag in, the moderators may tag it for you. Yes. Subject. But if you don't have to put it.
Okay, John, thank you. So John says, no, you do not need to tag anything. But what if I tag it incorrectly? Does that matter?
The moderators are all across the batch participating, so if they see something, if they see it's in the wrong bucket, chances are they'll correct it.
Okay, so if I tag Jedi as hydrology as opposed to ecology, they'll redirect it perhaps. So, but maybe it's just best to leave it blank. Would that be a better thing? Do you think it'll get there quicker if I just leave it blank?
Test it, just put it.
Okay, I'm going to test that out. That's great idea. So I'm just going to put atmosphere, for example, and I'm going to tag it as ASDC because that's not right, John, right? No. Okay, certainly not. And I know it's not above, so we're gonna, and I'm gonna hit submit. Who has already submitted their question? All right, look at my overachievers over there. Go ahead now. I love that. All right, come on. Come on, guys, let's do this. Brain research says you've got to have repeated exposure between 7 and 20 times for it to go into our long-term memory. Let's do it at least once, right? All right, we're gonna give you another about 20 seconds. It doesn't have to be very sophisticated. Okay? And help us spread the word about this forum, right, Nate? You want to share? Yes. Come on, you need a microphone. Oh, Lord, here he goes.
I think what also is helpful is you have your question. Usually it's in a certain context, doing some research. Yes. I think of interest to you.
Is that on?
Yeah. Testing. Yeah. All right. Usually, if you're participating in a forum, you have a particular interest. You have a discipline. You have a question about. Anything that describes or is connected to your question is actually good to start with when you do a search, because there may be folks who've already asked the same question, or it may be a way to find out related questions to your question, and it gives you a sense of what's already in the forum activity, what's already in the forum library or database. And then from there, if you don't see an answer to your question or related questions, you can then go right to the question and comment and put your post or your question in there. So ideally, we'd like you to just kind of search out that database and see who has similar questions to maybe my question, and see, you might discover other things related to the same topic that you're searching to get an answer to.
Well, that's great, because I'm already seeing, I think this is HDF5 to JSON, so I'm already able to look and kind of answer some of those questions myself, right? That's great advice. Okay, perfect. All right, next. All right, so with that, also submit a ticket to EarthData Help. How do we go about doing that?
That's send an email to support. Send an email to support@earthdata.nasa.gov, or go to the EarthData website, scroll down and fill out the Contact Us form.
Okay.
Again, the procedures for that, the Contact Us form goes to the headquarters communication, the ESDS program. If it is a DAC or data-related question, they will send it right down to Kayako, and we will put it to the triage team for the various DACs.
So are we saying, Ross, that any page on EarthData, any of these pages, is going to have a Contact Us button down at the bottom?
Yes.
Right here?
In the footer.
Right here. All right, let's take a look at that. Contact Us. So what kinds of questions or what kind of tickets that do we send to that?
It's a free-for-all.
Free-for-all.
Go
crazy.
We get questions about life on Mars all the way to I want to see my house.
I want to see my house to life on Mars.
That's probably one of my top questions.
All right. Broken links, I presume, stuff like that too, maybe?
The majority, I triage for the general EarthData bucket, and I would say I get 30% are URS questions. So it's people that either have issues signing up or they want to cancel their URS. And then I would say 10% of them are, I want to see this intersection in my car or my house.
So if you want to harass Ross, you can just really send him some Contact Us. Yeah,
and then we have people who, they don't understand the resolution. We have kind of boilerplate answers we provide to them. We let them know that if they're looking for that kind of resolution, we don't provide that. We have also people that ask to market. They want to advertise on our social media, and so we have boilerplate for that too.
I do want to mention while we're here, we have just hit, I believe, our annual mark of our newsletter, our Discovery newsletter. So we have 2 writers of the newsletter here. We've got Charlie and Josh. Please stand up. Come on now. And This is a new newsletter and right to your inbox every month. And yes, we have our great graphic designer, Kathleen here. Stand up, Kathleen. And so, yeah, so but please write, while you're harassing Ross, go ahead and sign up for our newsletter right there. And you can unsubscribe at any time. All right, so there we go. Full tour of those. Okie doke. So now I'm going to segue into our data pathfinders, and it's something I'm really excited about. These are big labors of love, and we hope to address some of our biggest barriers to NASA Earth science data. And some of the biggest barriers, as we've been experiencing throughout the week, are data discovery, data set selection, and then the application part. And this may look a bit like your journey. Right? Or some variation of that. And one of the things that we're really trying to do is to create more time for science instead of spending the hours that you spend on finding the right data, downloading them, trying to figure out which tools to use to analyze your data. And raise your hand if you've ever heard of our data pathfinders, NASA's data pathfinders. That's right. You guys better raise your hands, right? All right, you too, Paul, back there. All right, and so we have about 16 of these. They're topically driven, with the exception of our GIS data pathfinder. Is focused more on process of using NASA data within that GIS workflow. But we have just released last, I think Monday, our air quality data pathfinder, just in time for this conference. And Jennifer was a big help, Josh and others, GMAO, and we leveraged a lot of the action items from the Unbound report, from ESIP and others. So we're really excited about that. I'm not going to talk too much about it. If you're interested in it, come see me at the poster tonight, I believe around 5:30 this evening. But I do want to mention that we're doing a brand new one on renewable energy, hopefully to be released at AGU. So if you are in that renewable energy space, so John, we're working with Paul Stackhouse's power team and others. So we're excited to be working on that. In fact, the Renewable Energy Data Pathfinder was something we kickstarted at ESIP's Fun Friday with RPI last year, and that was really great, and Josh wrote an article about that. So this is my little pitch here. Want to learn more, stop by the poster. But we know that not all data users are created equally. So I see some folks starting to nod off after that delicious chicken dinner. So what I want you to do, grab your phones, and I want you to, let's go to that Mentimeter survey. And if you're not sure where that is, I've got to navigate to this survey here. I want to learn about you. And you've heard a little bit about us and how quirky we are. And I want you to join. Can I grab I like to walk and wiggle. All right. The QR code, let me try to find it. It's just the previous slide. Previous slide? Yeah, that's the GitHub. All right. Let me go back. Yeah, if you just type in menti.com, use the code 32010306. Okay. And we know that many of you have EarthData logins. And so far we have 8 people logged in. Do a count for me. How many people do we have in here? I'm gonna keep you guys real. We have 9. Come on, people. Menti.com. Use the code 3201.
on that first screen, and then there's another one you put next to Dan, and then you'll get
Okay, yes, can you repeat that for me?
click next one time. There's 2 pages, just click next 2 times.
Click next 2 times, Ryan says. Thank you so much, Ryan. All right, we've got 20 people in. There's more than 20 people in here. Come on, people. All right, so it looks like, Jennifer, would you mind doing me a favor and like hitting next on this for me?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
All right, we're getting in there. There we go. All right, we can go forward. We've done that. We can go forward, keep on going, keep on going. We had big plans to use Mentimeter, and then we just kind
Oh,
of
that's where you've got your QR
just
code.
yeah,
Keep going?
keep going.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Now it's time to find out about you, okay? What organizational sector do you work for and or support? And I have no idea what slide this one is. So far, we have 14 people who've made it to the slide. If you're one of those 14 people, congratulations. All right, so we've got mostly federal. We've got 16 of you. We have private sector, for-profit. We'll give you another 10 seconds on this one. But you can always keep going with it. Just because we move forward doesn't mean you need to skip it. Okay, we got some others. If you're one of the others, would you please let us know if you're in the room and you're an other? Yes. Okay, great. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. Yes.
National multilateral organizations have to go back.
Great, wonderful. All right, next. Which of the following best describe the focus area or areas of your research or applications? We have atmospheric science as A, B is cryospheric, we have C, planetary, we have D, geophysics, we have E, geology, F, hydrology, G, natural hazards, H, ocean science, I, seismology, J, tectonics, K is other. We've got a pretty diverse group here. Okay, next. On a scale of 0 to 5, how familiar are you with remote sensing data in general? It's like tug of war. Interesting, huh? Okay, next. Right in the middle. When using Earth observation data, what are you trying to accomplish? Research, visualization, mapping. Improving access. Assimilate, communicate. Optimize, data download, please data download. Well-labeled data, software development. Get paid, please. All right, 56 responses. Mapping. Great, next. What type of data user do you represent? Okay, so we have tool developer, practical data user, researcher, novice data user, organizational consumer like the World Bank, data provider, science attentive public just showed up, grantee just showed up, cool, I love these. They're so much fun, aren't they? All right, next. Which barriers prevent you from using NASA data in your work? That's so small. Not enough time. Data are too complex or too large, difficult to understand what data, can you read that, Jennifer?
Yes.
What data, what?
Difficult to understand, okay, well, you see, I got, difficult to understand what data variable or parameter to use.
Okay.
Next, lack of technical support. Next, lack of technical ability to work with the imagery in a way that addresses questions of interest. Difficult to find the data because there are too many resources available, yeah. Uncertainty in long-term data continuity availability. Lack of requisite knowledge, skills, and expertise, and lack of familiarity with NASA data holdings.
All right, very interesting. Okay, next. How would you describe your level of expertise using NASA Earth observation data? I am a seasoned user of NASA Earth data. I am a new user of NASA Earth data. I am not a current user of NASA Earth data, but have been in the past, and I have never used NASA Earth data. All right. Well, welcome, especially these two. Yay for the two. I mean, welcome everybody, right? All right. There we go. Next. Please indicate your preferred formats of data. All right, Jennifer, would you read those out for me?
I would. So you've got ASCII CSV, HDF, HDF5, NetCDF, JPEG, GIF, PNG, TIFF, GRIB, KMZ, KML, GeoTIFF, binary, cloud optimized GeoTIFF or COG, ZAR, and other. Post in the comments.
Okay, what do we have in the comments?
Well, that is a very good question, so I better check that out. And where would that be in the chat?
Maybe the chat. Nothing. Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Unless I'm looking in the wrong place.
that's all right.
So,
Okay.
all right. So should I go back?
Yeah, let's cross that out and then go.
Ooh.
Any
okay.
surprises
You
there?
can't go back.
Any formats that you predicted to be there that didn't show up? Okay.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Of course.
All
My
right,
apologies.
next.
Okay.
Please, okay, we did that one. Next. All right, if you're currently a user of NASA data, where do you obtain your data? Would you read those for me?
I would. I'm going to start at the top.
Okay.
Axes there. So access through interactive and go clockwise. Through interactive web pages like Worldview, access through Giovanni or other data portal, download through EarthData Search, download through a Distributive Active Archive Center or DAC, subset through DAC's tools, Appears, TESVIS, SDAT, etc. Subset through OpenDAP, access through NASA Earth Data Cloud using S3 Direct Access, access Earth Data via API.
Okay, so looks like most are, I mean, it's hard to say most, but we have download through Earth Data Search, access through API, well, okay, through Cloud Direct S3, okay, and then going to the DAC, and then using web apps. Okay, all right, next. What earth science data topics would you like to know about? Fire. Okay. R programming. AWS download. Okay. Thanks for putting these ideas in. Appears. All right, so we've got mineral deposits, ice melt, cloud use. All right, we've got a variety of different ideas here. All right, next. Okay, so if we could go back to real quickly to the Google slide.
Go back one.
Yeah, to the Google slide. Right up here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Perfect. All right, thank you. All right, so I know our time is waning, but knowledge is knowing tomato is a fruit, and wisdom is knowing not to put it in a fruit salad. Any ideas about how this relates to data users? Come on, who's a risk taker? How does this relate? Thank you, my dear. You're the overachiever.
Does it have to do with knowing that you have the data and where you can find it, but knowing how to apply it and utilize it in your project or your job or your everyday life?
Anybody else interpret this a little differently? John, was your hand up? No, no way, Jose. All right, so we're a bunch of data users here, but how we go about accessing those data and using those data are different. And this is my take on it. We are a room here full of people with data skills. Some of us here certainly have hopefully hit this data literacy mark, but many of us work from this data fluency part of this diagram, right? Where we're identifying problems, investigating sources, think about ethical uses of data, looking for patterns, things like that. But some of us, and probably the majority of us, are using existing technologies fluently to access and reformat data. This is the much higher level of dexterity with data. And so as an agency who's collecting and making these data accessible, we need to think about these different data users, right? And so that's how the tomato analogy kind of comes into play. And so we have three main resources we want to share with you with the time remaining. And so with the stars that I've put here, data fluency with the green, and orange is data dexterity. So this is, so I want us to think about if you are operating from that data fluency area, probably Worldview or Giovanni might be a great tool for you. If you have data dexterity skills, or that's an area that you want to develop, EarthData Search is likely the best tool for you. Unless you're just someone who just wants to try them on all for size, I certainly don't want to discourage you. But here are some of the benefits and limitations of each tool. We can see here, let me move this down at the bottom. I can move this safely, right? More.
And then it's hide floating meaning you can also see that.
Hide. Okay, thank you. I worked with Jim Acker from Justice on this, should be on the safe side, and he and I hope you're in agreement here, but we put here on the x-axis the advanced data skills and knowledge required. So you can see here as we move from left to right, those are the required data skills and knowledge needed as you move from Worldview over to EarthData Search. And then scientific value of these tools, right? So I want you, and I'm not going to sit here and read these all for you because Jennifer's going to walk us through them. But if you're looking for imagery, Worldview is going to be your place to go, right? Giovanni's great. I love Giovanni, but it's got 20 different data analysis tools, but it's limited, no error bars, limited statistics. It's limited mostly to Justice holdings, but it also has some other DAC data. It also has CSV, GeoTIFF, NetCDF. So if you are a GIS person, that's going to be a great tool for you, right? It's got level 3 and level 4 data. So if you are looking for other levels of data, that's not going to be the tool for you. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that to you. So with that being said, I'm going to hand it over to Jennifer.
Not sure if we're gonna have enough time now. I'll just use this one, I think, because I'll need to use my fingers to move. Okay, so I feel like we're running out of time a little bit here, but the first tool that I'd like to introduce is NASA Worldview, and Worldview is a imagery mapping and visualization tool that really provides, it's an open source tool, and it provides access to over 1,000 data imagery layers. Okay, it's something that is very useful for time critical applications. You can look at flooding, you can look at severe storm development, you can also look at wildfires as they're developing, for example, air quality measurements. And all of these imagery layers are provided through Gibbs. So I'm not really going to read everything on the slide. You can, certainly take a look at that. And I do want to try to catch up a little bit in terms of time. Okay, so there are, and I am going to show you in a moment, but there are 4 different map projections. You've got your geographic, your Arctic polar stereographic, Antarctic polar stereographic, and then your Webb Mercator. And so there are different types of imagery or data types, if you will. You've got your raster and you also have your vector. There are a variety of different resolutions. It really depends upon the data imagery layer. And there's also, a variety of different temporal resolutions, again, depending upon the data imagery layer that you are visualizing. The latency also varies. Your geostationary data is available much quicker than many of the other data imagery layers, which are available usually within 3 to 4 hours of satellite acquisition. Okay, so again, you've got your raster imagery types, and that would include your base layers as well as many of your overlays. And you've got a little bit of information here. Again, I'm trying to catch up a little so we have time for the demo. We also have the vector data, which I will show you because the use case today is going to be the fires that are northwest of Greece, of Athens, Greece, that are taking place right now. So we're going to take a look at what that looks like in Worldview. And so this static feature, is going to provide you with associated, the metadata for that particular data imagery layer where it's available, and you'll see it indicated by in a second I'll show you, it's like a blue kind of pointing finger / fist. I'm not really sure, it kind of looks like a hand, but you'll see in just a second. And so here you've got information, the latitude and longitudinal information about the fire radiative power, and more. Some of the key features and functionalities within Worldview: you can create an animation. You can compare data imagery over time. So you could compare the same data, or you could compare different data looking at the same geographic region. And that's like a side-by-side kind of, toggle left and right kind of comparison. You also have an events tab, which is curated through NASA's Earth Observatory, their natural event tracker, or EONET. And so I'll show you that in a moment as well. And this is a static image, but here's kind of what the interface would look like for an animation. We're not going to do a live demo of an animation today. So here you can see some of the smoke from the Canadian wildfires, which started a bit earlier than the ones we're seeing again now in early May to mid-May. And so you can see the smoke kind of traveling across. And this is a corrected reflectance image. Okay. And here you do see the animation. And so this is your geostationary data. It's the geocolor data. And this is just for May 16th. All right, and then an example of what I mentioned just a few minutes ago. It's a false color image. You've got on the left-hand side, you can see pre-fire, and this is for fires last summer in northeastern Spain. And on the right-hand side, you can see the smoke plume and also the burned area, which is kind of outlined with the dark red, and also the fire perimeter, which is kind of brighter orange or red. Okay. And I'm happy to, if anybody is interested in doing like a one-on-one Worldview demo while I'll be here through tomorrow night, I'm happy to do that with anyone, and if you have questions. And then the natural hazards and events, I mentioned that, and I'll show you in just a moment. You're going to click on the events tab. So why don't we get to it, actually. So for today's demonstration, we are going to, first I want to talk about a few of the features that you can see here. So the one thing that I want you to be aware of in the upper left, right, you've got your layers. Here is the events or tab that I just mentioned. I'm hoping the internet will cooperate so you can get a little feel for that here. And you can actually download some of the data imagery layers. It goes directly to EarthData Search, by the way. Okay, so it's not, you're not downloading it through Worldview, but it will take you out to EarthData search. Okay, and so I went too quickly. So I wanted to say something about, let's go back to the main page, the tour stories. Okay, so in the center of the screen here, you see tour stories. This is an excellent way to familiarize yourself with the application. You've got multiple steps. So for example, for assessing floodwaters, it'll lead you through, it's kind of like a mini tutorial for all of these various applications, right? And so they'll feature different data imagery layers, just taking you through a few of these steps so you can get a feel for what that looks like. Okay, and this is featuring a Modus flood product. I'm gonna hop out of this, but you can also turn it off. If you don't want to see the tour story every time you log in, you scroll down. Oh, actually, you just see it right here, the box at the bottom. Do not show this until a new tour story has been added. So one of the features you need to be familiar with is how to add layers. To add layers, you would click on the orange Add Layers button and kind of in the middle of the screen. You can add layers by hazard or disaster, excuse me, by science discipline, featured layers. I think right now it's still the, we've got some new layers. So there's the Opera surface water extent, which is really new. And you've got your harmonized Landsat Sentinel data products, which is really high resolution data if you're looking at land surface. Okay, and then let me get out of here. And, you can also type in which we're going to do in just a moment. You can type in a keyword for your search layer. Before we do that, on the right-hand side, there is, you can, in terms of, identifying your spatial search, you can add a point, add a marker on the map. You can draw a box around your location. To the right of that, this icon is to share your map. I'm just going to show you quickly here. We have a built-in NASA, like a bit.ly shortener, if you wanted to share your imagery. That one actually, of course, it can't be shortened, so I don't have anything pulled up. Here's where you're going to find your projections, your Arctic, geographic, Antarctic. To the right of that is the snapshot icon, which I'll show you. And if you click on the information, you will find the source code. You can actually look at this in distraction-free mode, which just means that you're not going to see any of the layers, the overlays or the layers on the left-hand side that you have selected, okay? And then there's information about Worldview itself. So why don't we go ahead and get started with our demo?
Can I follow along?
Yeah, sure, that'd be great. Okay, so I wanna make sure I've got all of my, all right, so what we are going to do here, we are going to,
Worldview.nasa.gov.
yes, it's worldview.earthdata.nasa.gov. So if you go there, first thing we're going to do is actually type in, I'm going to the right in the search bar, and I'm actually going to just type in Athens, Greece. Okay. If I can apparently type. Oh, my word. Sorry. All right. No, that's not actually. There we go. I don't think that didn't work. Give me a second. I'm sorry.
Imagine if we're doing this. This is great for journalists.
Okay.
And people like that.
Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we are going to add layers, and I am going to add the aqua. We're going to go scroll down to aqua, and we're going to do day and night, fires and thermal anomalies. I don't know, how many of you are following along? Anybody? Oh, are you? Okay, good. Okay. All right, and so something that you want to keep in mind, because you want the measurements to, like the overpasses to line up. So if you chose for your base layer, and here this is not correct, Terra Modis, you want your overlay to also be Terra Modis, right? So you could do Terra Modis day, Terra Modis night, same thing with any of the other corrected reflectance layers, excuse me. And so what I'm going to do now is actually to turn off a layer, and this is actually good, we're doing this, you would click on the eye icon, right? If you would like information about the layer, going to click on the I as in the letter, the little tiny I here. You can also view options. You could adjust opacity. That's an option you could, so we're going to turn off Terra Modus and we're going to turn on Aqua Modus. And actually this is not the best view. So here's yesterday. I'm just stepping back one day. Oh, and the time, in terms of advancing your, or adjusting your temporal range is located in the left corner. So you can adjust by year. And in this case, what we're going to do is I am going to actually, so this is the vector. Can you see the little blue? It's kind of like a pointing finger or hand to me. I don't know. And so we are going to check that out by clicking on one of these pixels, because I want you to see that. I'm hoping it's not too super tiny. I think I can actually make this bigger so you can see. All right, so the kind of information, the metadata that you'll find with the fire vector, you're going to have your fire radiative power, you'll have your latitude and longitude, you're going to have information about, whether or not it's a daytime or a nighttime observation, and more, okay? So now we're going to take a snapshot by clicking on the camera icon, and I am going to adjust this. I'm sorry, the touchpad on this is a little bit, it's different than what I'm used to, so forgive me for this, but you can definitely see the smoke plume. Okay, and so let me adjust it a little bit. Okay, and you could download. Okay, and here's what, you can also get rid of the marker as well, right? So, and now we are going to, I'm going to show you how to, you can adjust your output to share this map. Oh, excuse me. To share this map, you're going to click on the second icon in the upper right, and you can shorten the link, which is great for social media. Click on copy and then, use it in whatever you would like to do. A couple of features, I guess what I didn't show you is down in the lower right corner, hopefully you can see this, there is a ruler icon, and that ruler is going to allow you to measure distance or measure area. So you can measure distance either in kilometers, or you can adjust it or measure in miles. You can also measure area, which could be good for looking at burn scars. And then the other thing I wanted to show you was in the information, in the upper right, the eye graphic, the last one in the upper right, you click on settings. If you were, looking at, let's say, land surface temperature, or a variable where you wanted to adjust the temperature unit, you can do that here by clicking on the eye icon, and then, changing to Kelvin or Celsius, and there are other options as well. And so that is really kind of all I wanted to go through for this basic overview. If we had more time, maybe we could go through, do a comparison or create an animation. Go ahead.
Yeah. So if you're interested in learning more, sign up for the AGU pre-conference 8-hour workshop so you can take a deep dive in these tools. All right, the next thing I want to show with you is all right, let's skip ahead to Giovanni. And in the, okay, raise your hand again if you've tried Giovanni. Raise them high, raise them high. All right, very good. All right, so I worked with Jim Acker, and so I chickened out here. So Haycast has done an incredible job of putting together a 3-minute demo. Okay, I could never do it in three minutes. So what I'm going to showcase for you is how easy this tool is to use. So do me a favor, you can access Giovanni using the notes. So I'm going to open this up here. We can, I'm not a PC user. So we can, nope, we can go to today's session. If you don't have the GitHub link directly accessible, you can type in Giovanni if you've been there before. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to GitHub, and we're going to scroll down, and I'm going to show you here. You can see, I don't have the microphone. Thank you. Thank you. So we have here the link to Giovanni. You can open it up directly. We also have the tutorial I'm about to show you, 3 minutes. Actually, Haycast added some other stuff, so it's the lengthier piece. And there's a PDF, which is a step-by-step tutorial, which is fantastic. And they go through a lot more in depth. Actually, I shouldn't do that, but that's okay. All right, here is Giovanni, and it offers, again, like 20 different types of analyses that you can do. It is a great resource for you. I am going to go ahead and queue up this video, and go ahead at this time and open Giovanni, and I will giovanni.gsfc.nasa.gov. Also, if you type in Giovanni NASA, you'll land on it.
First, you will need to select your plot.
Okay, I'm going to give you a second. And notice we're going to start up here. She has identified the maps time averaged map. So once you get this open, if you will go ahead and select that type of output, time averaged map. Now, if you're a visual learner, just watch this. You're going to be amazed at what this person is able to do in about 3 minutes. So let's just take a look here.
I'd like a time-averaged map. I'm interested in nitrogen dioxide, so this type of map gives the average NO2 column over my region for a selected time period. There are a few maps you can choose from. Click the details link beneath each option to see which one is best suited for your purposes. The time-averaged map is what I'm looking for, so I'll leave that highlighted. Next, select a date range for which you would like to see data. I'm going to choose May 1st, 2016 to May 10th, 2016. You'll most likely choose a wider time period, but time average maps take a long time to run, and the larger the date range, the more time you'll wait. Expect to be waiting for at least a few minutes and possibly half an hour or so for wider ranges. Now that I've chosen a date range, I need to choose the area that I'd like data for. You can either click on the bounding box to draw a box over the area you'd like data for, or you can select the shape of the area, which is useful if you're interested in specific states, countries, or oceans. I'm interested in data for Wisconsin, so I'll select Wisconsin. Next, choose the variables you'd like to map. You can filter the measurements by discipline, but I'm just going to click on nitrogen dioxide. I'll select the nitrogen dioxide tropospheric column and click Plot Data. Now I'll go get some coffee as my data is plotted. This is a default map that's generated by Giovanni. This doesn't show much over my region, so I will rescale the contours and color to be more informative. There we go. That's better. Now I can see the high and low values more clearly. If you'd like to learn how to do this, follow the instructions in our written how-to on our website. You can download this data for your own use. To do so, click Download, and when prompted, choose a file format that works best for your needs. To find out more about Giovanni, including how to generate scatter plots and other visual outputs.
All right, so that was pretty quick, right? I'm a Southerner, so I talk really slow. So she from Wisconsin can really nail it much quicker than I can. So there is a lot more to Giovanni than that. But what I inspire you guys to do is to give it a go, right? But with the time that we have left, which is not a lot, we have about 15 minutes left, and Jennifer has not even started with Earth Data Search. I think she should walk us through, unless, let's hear from you. Okay. So raise your hand if you want to try out Giovanni and Worldview as is without Earth Data Search and have access to the subject matter experts to walk around and help you explore those tools without Earth Data Search. The other option would be to go into Earth Data Search with the time that we have left, maybe have time for some questions and answers. Then you would see Earth Data Search, Giovanni, and Worldview, and have access, at least have an overview of all three tools with limited time to practice and have access to subject matter experts. So the first one is Worldview and Giovanni with time to practice and subject matter experts. That's number one. Number two is to see all three with no time to practice. So raise your hand and put up finger one. That would be the vote, or number two for access to all three. Okay. All right, Jennifer, you're up.
Okay, the one thing I did want to say is that at the NASA Goddard DAC, there's actually a very nice cookbook for walking through all of the steps and everything you need to know on using Giovanni. And there are a number of very short video tutorials that show you how to generate like your Hav-Muller plots and your the various assortment of plots. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Okay, and I think those are linked within the GitHub page that we created. All right, so I have to get back to, let's see, I just exit out of this, I guess.
Yep.
Okay. I feel like I don't even have time for the slides.
I know. You got 15 minutes.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to try to make what I was going to say a little bit shorter so there's time for the demo. Okay, so NASA Earth Data Search is beneficial to people in that you have access to all 12 of the data centers' data holdings, right? And so if you are an interdisciplinary user, you don't have to go to XDAC, YDAC, ZDAC. You could actually search for those data products at the same time for your geographic region of interest using Earth Data Search. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up some introductory slides. So I'll say a little bit about this. So you have access to over 50,000 EOISTIS data holdings, but not only that, you have access to some of our partner agency data holdings as well. You are able to, depending upon the data product, you can, obviously search based on, conducting your temporal or your spatial search, but there are also numerous different options for, further filtering that data. You can preview browse images, but it really depends upon the product. That's not available for everything. You can download and submit requests for your data, and customization is available again, but it does depend upon the data product that you are accessing. All right, so I think, wondering if I should just show you this instead of going through these. Yeah. Okay, so why don't we go back and hop straight into the demo. All right, so we're going to click on search.earthdata.nasa.gov. And I don't know if folks want to follow along or not, but I'm going to say a few words about the interface first. So on the left side here, this is like what you're going to get, when you go to search.earthdata.nasa.gov. I'm currently not logged in. The left panel, anything that you are doing in the left, this is the way in which you are going to filter data holdings, right? In the upper, so this icon here that looks like a calendar, that is how you're going to add your temporal, constraints. The next icon is how you are going to, or the options for generating your spatial constraints. And then to the right of that, you can also actually add specific shape files here, which we are not going to do today. Okay, so what we are going to do today, and customizable means that you might be able to reproject your data, or maybe you can subset by parameter or specific variables. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do today is we are going to look at land surface temperature for Arizona from July 1st through July 14th. So the first thing that I am going to do is in the upper left, I'm going to type land surface temperature. Okay. And then in this middle panel, okay, so whatever you're doing in the left panel should dynamically update what you see in this middle panel where I'm scrolling right here. Okay, so we are going to okay, hopefully it doesn't take too long. All right, I'm gonna scroll down and I am going to select the Modus Aqua land surface temperature, emissivity, daily, level 3, global 1 kilometer product. I am now going to add my temporal constraints, and we are going to select 2023. We're going to select July. We're going to select the 1st with the end date of 2023, July. Wait a minute here. And then the 14th. Okay, there we go. And we're going to click on apply. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to collapse this by clicking on those two vertical. You could actually just push it over. But what we're going to do here is I'm going to zoom in. Okay, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. I'm feeling the pressure to finish this. I'm really feeling it. Like a lot. Okay, and so, okay, so now what we're going to do, this is what happens when you're a teacher. We were getting into it earlier, but now you know. Okay, I'm gonna search by spatial polygon. Forgive me, this might not be like perfect. So, oh shoot. So we're gonna like connect, we're gonna keep going. I could never follow that act, Elizabeth Joyner. All right, so not act, I don't mean that. I mean, okay. So, all right, so hopefully, I kind of messed this up. Goodness gracious. Okay, I did. But what we're gonna do now, we're gonna expand this again and I'm gonna move this over. I hope. Okay, so one way, so as you can see here, okay, so if I hover over, you've got your granule, you've got 20 matching granules, okay, for my time range for that data product. And you can see this little kind of like outset, right, of that's kind of like your little browse, which gives you an idea for that granule. If I hover over any of these granules in the middle panel, is going to highlight that particular footprint on the map in a darker green. So hopefully everybody can see that. I'm actually gonna zoom out just a little bit. And so to add those, we're just gonna add 3. So I'm going to add this to my cart, this particular granule here. And I want to show you something else. So you see for this second granule that that's not really, I'm going to say that's not the region that I'm looking for. So if you want to remove that from your list, there are 3 dots next to the granule and that's like your data set long ID, right? So you've got your Julian date in there, you have the version. So the 061 in that numerical extension is actually version 6.1. Okay, so we're going to click on the three dots. And you can actually filter you'll click on filter the granule to get rid of that one. Let's say I don't want that, okay? And I'm gonna add a couple more that do fall. Okay, we're gonna add this. Excuse me, let me click on to add them to your project, you're going to click on the green plus button, which is adding the granule. And I just want to add one more. Okay, we're going to click on this one. Again, clicking on the green plus button. And now in the bottom right, within the middle panel, you should see download. And wait a minute, here is where I'm gonna have to log in. Sorry about this.
Why do we want to log in, Jennifer?
Because okay, so it's a requirement for, downloading our data products. But as a benefit to all of you, you can save your preferences. You can, actually, I could just do, you're logged in. Can I just use, yeah. So you can save your preferences. It'll show your project. It'll show what you've downloaded before. You can also actually, I didn't mention this, but you could subscribe. Like, let's say you're doing research in a specific area and you want to know when there are new granules or new observations for that, you would click on, in the lower left, you see the bell icon, you would click on that and you can actually subscribe and receive an email letting you know when there are additional granules for your region of interest. So we are going to click on download right here in the middle panel in the bottom right. This is very simplistic, by the way, just for the purpose of this workshop, and I am not an Earth data search expert. There are probably people in the room who are much better at this than I am, but I wanted you to kind of see, what does this actually look like? And so for this particular, okay, you can title your project. So why don't we give this a name? We're gonna say ESIP. Apparently I cannot type with this computer at all, which is ridiculous. Sorry. I know.
4 minutes.
Oh no. Oh my gosh. Okay, so download data. There is no customization available for this granule. It kind of indicated that, but there are, you can select your output. Maybe you want a geotiff. You can reproject. Again, subsetting available, depends on the data set. So here you see our 3 granules, voila. And you have your links to the data sets. We are not going to now, download the script or do any of that, but, browse imagery is also available for each of those. The files was pretty fast, right? And I downloaded earlier this morning, probably over 100. It was equally as fast. I mean, it's a pretty powerful tool, but there is a bit of a learning curve. A pitch for resources to help you. We did a webinar, I believe it was last year, with the Earth Data Search team. And there are numerous use cases and kind of really in-depth explanations as to what all of the key features and functionalities can do for you as a researcher or application scientist. I encourage you to check it out at our YouTube channel on just search for NASA Earth Data, all one word, and I bet you will find some resources that you will really like. And so that is all I have. Thank you. Now that I'm like almost sweating due to the pressure.
All right, we have time for like 2 questions, maybe 1. Time for 1 question? Comment? Yes.
Maybe an easy one, but maybe a novice one, but each of the 3 platforms had different like levels.
Yeah.
What does that mean in this context?
Yeah, so, well.
You want to come up here?
Sure.
That's a great question. Okay, so data product levels are basically
how much processing has been done to the data products, right? And so as you increase the level of the data product, but someone from one of the DACs can correct me if they think I don't, in terms of like geometric correction, and it becomes a more value-added product as you're going towards level 3 and level 4 products. Earth Data Search will allow you access to the most comprehensive array of product levels, right? And Worldview is excellent as a visualization tool. And again, I'm totally available if anybody wants to find me and do different search. We actually have a very nice tutorial that is on the YouTube channel as well from 2021, where we go through some of the additional features, how to create an animation. I'm totally open to that. Again, I'm only here through tomorrow evening, but yeah, so we've got a lot of resources, a lot of recipes, a lot of webinars. Our data center people are amazing. If you're looking for Jupyter Notebook demonstrations, you can find all of that. Cloud computing, all of that on the Earth Data YouTube channel and on the Earth Data website under Learn, and then webinars and tutorials. We have a question here. Sure.
Well, actually, this is just a comment, but isn't there typically a time lag as you move to higher level because it's going through a bunch of review and processing? So
yes,
the lower level data may be available almost immediately, whereas level 3 and level 4, I believe, tend to be time lagged significantly, typically.
That's a great response. And there's a web page on Earth Data I pulled up that kind of explains more about the data processing levels. And you'll see there's even sub-levels in there that are more specialized based on level 2A, et cetera.
I mean, I do think that that's generally right, because there's a difference between our standard science quality data products and the near real-time products, although the standard data product algorithm has been applied to the near real-time products. So you're looking at a difference between, minutes to 3 to 4 hours, and then, several days for many of the standard data products. I mean, NASA has a very, I guess, is stringent the right word? Like it is, in terms of data product validation and calibration, we really take that seriously. And so, just in terms of, looking at data set continuity, going from MODIS data to VIIRS, once those satellites will no longer be, because Terra is reaching end of life pretty quickly here. So we really, that's important. It's a very important part of the process. So yes, there is certainly a, if you will, a delay, right? Those products are not released as quickly as your near real-time products.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, we are over time, so if you need to scoot, feel free.
I kind of cruised through those demos and left out some information to try to catch up, but
Quick question.
only sort of.
Can you access Gibbs, the URL on Earth or Worldview?
I think there is actually a link to Gibbs. We included too. Are you for the API?
Yeah, I want to get the URL to like Gibbs.
Yes, I believe that you can if you're clicking on.
You can go to API.
And I did actually include those links in my.
Yes.
I included those links in my slide deck as well.
If you go to EarthData/API, you'll see a list of all the APIs that we have. And there's a link for the Gibbs API. When you go there, it'll take you right out to the information. So you can go to, if you're a developer, if you're looking for the product catalog, et cetera, it's all on the website.
Like, can you select some layer on Worldview? Can you also can you first preview it on Worldview and then it directly links to the Gibbs?
You're looking for, if you see it in Worldview, you're looking for the API for that layer?
Yes.
I believe so. We can get back to you on that.
Okay.
Yep.
Business card, Ross?
Well, you've got my contact info too.
I got a business card. Slacker.
Yeah, exactly. Or if you email support, I'll be
Oh, yeah, that's a good, yeah.
I'll be
Yeah,
I'll be the
email
traffic
support.
cop. It'll go right to the Gibbs team. I want to say something real quick. I want to thank Teddy is online, helping out. Also, Dan's in the room, and then the other ESIP members. I'm sure I'm missing a few people. Shameless plug: that SSAI has sponsored your afternoon break. So if anybody from SSAI, we're supposed to take a picture next to the food. So
Thank you all for joining. Thank you, Jennifer, and Ross for hosting. Thank you so much, Teddy.